Hi everyone, Dr. Orna here. I'm coming at you today to talk about holiday season survival. We're getting to that time of year where we have the gauntlet of holidays coming at us, and all this week on my Instagram feed, I am hosting a hashtag Holiday Survival Week. Bunch of my colleagues are contributing. There are some great tips, so please go over there and check that out if you haven't already done that. Today, what I want to talk to you about is the very likely to occur with the holidays gut bomb. And I want to say a lot of people go out and spend the holidays with friends, with family. They may go out to eat. So there's a lot of food stuff around the holidays. But I also want to acknowledge that not everybody does that or chooses to go to be around family, to be around people. Some people like to hole up. Some people have no place to go. And there can be loneliness and sadness associated with that. Not for everybody, but for some people. And the tips that I want to talk about today can help whether what's going on for you is you're eating too much or you don't feel like eating at all. So what I want to talk to you about today is the herbal concept of bitters and some very specific herbal medicines that are bitter and help support digestion. So bitter is kind of a lost flavor in the United States in modern times. We are familiar with it with coffee, which does a whole bunch of other things. But the flavor of bitter basically turns on our digestive tracts, and it does it by reflex. So you don't need a lot, you just need to taste it. So this is great news because for people who have sluggish digestion, people who have overindulged, people who have no hunger and don't feel like eating at all, maybe have a little nausea, just introducing a taste of bitter can turn all sorts of things around. I have a patient who had some experiences of really bad reflux, so heartburn, and he didn't really believe me. And then he had a bad case of heartburn, and he tried some bitters under the tongue. Boom! Within 15 minutes, it was gone. So this is really powerful medicine, and not all bitters taste bad, and I'm going to talk about that. But bitter is a flavor that we really do need to get reacquainted with. So bitters, as I said, work by reflex. A little bit on the tongue, hits the nervous system, goes straight up to the brain, and the brain says, aha, food is coming. And it starts the whole complicated cascade of things that need to happen for digestion to occur. So it will make saliva be more plentiful in your mouth. It makes secretions in the stomach go. It makes the bottom of the stomach close so that things can stay in the stomach and get churned. It makes things fill. It makes things open. It makes things squirt. It makes things shut down. It resets all the complicated timing in the GI tract. And that timing point is actually also really useful if you're traveling for the holidays, especially if you're going to a different time zone. If you use bitters before meal times in your new time zone, it can help reset your internal clock so that you are better adapted to your time zone and have less jet lag. Pretty cool. So bitters turn on digestion, just a taste will do. So a couple of options for bitters. I went out to the front yard and I picked some things for you because it's not the season to really do this in the backyard. So this big tall guy is Oregon grape. This one is the Mahonia aquifolium, the tall Oregon grape. And the part that I generally use for my patients is the root, which makes this beautiful yellow, I'm scaring my face. Ow, prickly, you see the prickles? So the root makes a tincture or a tea less palatable. Beautiful yellow color from the berberine, which is good in many ways for your GI tract, not just the bitters, but that's a different video. So you may think that this looks like holly, which would be seasonally appropriate, but the difference is you can see how there is one of these guys right at the very end. So that means that this is not a leaf. All of this is a leaf. In holly, each one of these is a leaf, and you can tell because there isn't like one single guy at the end there. So Oregon grape, super handy. If you're not growing it, or if you're in a place that doesn't grow it, very likely you're in a place that grows this. This is dandelion, which comes from the French, which I won't try to pronounce, but basically dent or dente, like dental. So the teeth of a lion. So you can see the little teeth there. And in some places in Portland, and maybe where you are if you're not in Portland, you can get dandelion leaves in the supermarket, in the fancy veggie section. And now people spend a lot of time and money and effort trying to get rid of the dandelion in their lawns. So I'm going to say, if you want to get rid of dandelion in your lawns, one way to do that is to eat it. So you can use this as a green that you cook up with any other greens or anything that you're sauteing. I don't like putting it into soups because it can make the whole soup or the stew really bitter. You can also just take bites off it. So if you've eaten too much or at a holiday meal, or if you're not hungry, or if you have digestive troubles and you want to prepare before the meal, you can just like take a little bit and chew it up. Make sure that wherever you're harvesting, it's not a place where they have been spraying it to get rid of the dandelions. Make sure there's no critter poop on it. Wash it if you need to. But dandelion, super readily available. If you eat too much or are not hungry and you just really need some help, if you have a clean place outside that you can go to, just grabbing some dandelion will really do amazing stuff for you. It's really yummy, actually. It's not super bitter. So other herbs that I mentioned can be more palatable but still have that bitter quality and the bitter effects are some of our standard things that we think about for tummy teas. For instance, chamomile. So chamomile, it's generally, you feel it as aromatic. It has that great fragrance. I might have dandelion in my teeth. It has that great fragrance and it's a little bit sweet, but there is a bitter note to it also. And so the aromatics help support digestion, but that bitter underneath also does that reflex thing that I was talking about. Another similar herb that, again, you don't necessarily think of as super bitter because it's mostly aromatic is lavender. And again, that's a flavor we're not so used to in North America these days, but it is a traditional herb that's used for digestion. And I think it's really yummy. And in my clinic, I have tea set up for patients when they come in, and they have a whole bunch of choices that they can make. And this is one that both my patients and I like to use actually quite a lot. And one of the cool, I don't know if this comes out backwards on the video, but it's basically chamomile with lavender. You can get this in a lot of supermarkets. It's really accessible. And one of the cool things about both chamomile and lavender is that in addition to tasting good and being aromatic, in addition to the bitter qualities that help with digestion, these are calming herbs. And as I've discussed in other videos, we don't digest when we're super stressed. So having an herb or herbs that you can take as a tea or in whatever form that work both to improve digestion and calm the nervous system so that we can digest better, this is a really handy tool to have around. So if you're going to be traveling for the holidays, this might be a great thing to pack with you. Tea bags don't take up a lot of space. You can make this if you have a co-op or an herb shop where you can get bulk chamomile and lavender. Just mix it up yourself, super inexpensive. And if you are preparing for a holiday where you know you're going to be alone, or you have any reason that you don't tend to feel hungry, this would be another great one. So today we talked about chamomile, lavender, dandelion, Oregon grape, the importance of bitters to promote digestion, and I'm wishing you a very happy holiday. If you are not watching this on Instagram, please go over to my Instagram account, Dr. Orna. It's dr.orna, and follow me there. I have in my highlights a bunch of the recommendations from myself and from my colleagues, and you can see a bunch in my feed and in my stories. And if you find this helpful, or you see some things on there that you think are helpful for somebody else, please share. Please tag them. And if you share, please tag me. Thank you so much. I wish you great and festive holidays, or relaxing holidays and quiet, if that is what you prefer. And if you're watching this on YouTube, please do hit subscribe. I'm not sure exactly where the subscribe button is, but if you could subscribe to my channel, that really helps me reach more people with information that people don't know and that can be really helpful. So thank you so much for joining me, and have a great holidays. Bye.